Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
Hello everyone and welcome to a special edition of Extra Time TV. This is Andre Sooklal and we're going to speak about the friendly between Trinidad and Tobago and Bolivia. This game is going to be away from home. It was originally supposed to be somewhere else if I'm not mistaken, but it's going to be played in the Estadio Olímpico Patria in Sucre, Bolivia. It's above sea level in case you guys and gals are wondering. That's a big issue because teams have gone to that country. Bolivia is traditionally very strong at home. Teams like Brazil and Argentina and Uruguay and so on go there and they struggle because the oxygen levels are so thin. It's like the Azteca in Mexico. Very similar. At one point, I think it was banned. I think it was for a little while and then, it came back. And, that's no easy game, folks. And this is quite a difficult friendly to play. Angus Eva and his men are already there. The game is going to kick off in a couple hours. So as always, we do our usual preview and, we'll try to break things down as condensed, but as, relevant as possible. So, we're going to kick things off with, the usual things. We're trying out different angles and so on. I'm alone today, folks. I'm alone. So I'll be doing a lot of things on my own. So basically, Trinidad and Tobago, just a little rundown, folks. We haven't played any games since the CONCACAF Gold Cup, where we had a decent run of games. We had a draw against Mexico, which, shocked a lot of people, depending on who you asked, because the situation with Trinidad and Tobago football hasn't been great. Financially, there's a lot of transitions, a transitional period taking place. We have to fix all the debt that has been incurred by, corruption, I should say, for the last 20 or 30 years, and it's a process. And with COVID-19, there's no active league taking place. There's a lot of things going on. So previous coach Terry Fennick and now Angus Eve have to face this unusual time. And this is by no means is going to be an easy game, because since then they haven't played any games. I think from what I read and what I saw, that playing any sort of competitive games is just out of the question right now. So this was a nice surprise. However, it's even more daunting because these guys, which it seems to be a younger squad, which we'll get into in a couple moments, is a very young sort of squad. There's a couple experienced guys in there, but nothing beats match fitness, playing games. There's no question about that. If anybody says otherwise, you can get a lot of fitness and you can get to a certain level, but you have to play a high quality opposition. So you can play games and get to a certain level, but you really need to play teams at an international level. And make no mistake, folks, Bolivia is at that level. So, we're going to head across to, the stats and, the things that really matter in this game. So one of the things, before I get into this, and I'm running this all myself, folks, is that, Trinidad and Tobago has many challenges in addition to not playing a lot of games. The financial issues, in terms of players not being available. It's also not an official FIFA window. So, this game is outside. So a lot of players like the Kaleem Highlands and the Levi Garcias and the usual guys won't be there. It would be something crazy for them to be there, which we'll discuss a little more. So, let's head across to the squad and we'll take a quick look at the squad. So as you can see here, goalkeepers are Marvin Phillip, Adrian Fonset, defenders Alvin Jones, Rodanfa Abubakar, Jamal Jack, all unattached. This is from the, one of the releases from the TTFA. Stefan Marcano, who plays for CSU Bakersfield Athletics in USA. Jesse Williams, Mikael Williams, both Pittsburgh Riverhounds USA. Justin Garcia. I don't think there's any relation to the other Garcias. There's so many Garcias. Midfielders, Keston George. Interesting addition because, Keston, we knew him recently with the futsal team. He did a lot of documentaries with us. So, well done, Keston. Michel Poud-Angeron on a touch. So that means he's no longer at Banfield, but he has experience in South America. Neville Hackshaw, Noah Powder, both of Indy 11. Matthew Wu, Ling. Hashim Asia, who we're familiar with, Malik Khan, attackers John Paul Rushford, Ryan Telfer, Johnny Fortune, who plays for Atlanta United, and Rion Moore. So that is pretty much the squad at present, and I'll be honest, I think it's going to be a challenge for these guys, because it's with the exception of Radanfa and so on, and a couple others in there, and Marvin Phillip as well. This is going to be a tough game. This is going to be a very difficult game, because Trinidad and Tobago playing in altitude, it hasn't been great for us. I think when Dennis Lawrence was there, we had a pretty decent game against Mexico. I think it was pretty close. And as Angus said, which is a fact, there's two ways you can approach this game. You could actually go 2 weeks before and get acclimatized, which I don't think is possible. I guess also they would have done it. Or you can go within the 24-hour time frame, and if you can maybe play and not feel the side effects. So that's two ways you can approach it. But the oxygen levels, folks, I know we speak a lot about oxygen levels now in this COVID-19 pandemic, but this is going to be tough, because they're going to be walking around with masks. I'm guessing Angus has his team doctor who probably takes the precautionary measures as much as possible to keep the blood oxygen levels high as possible. And I don't know. We'll I guess after the game we'll probably have a discussion with Angus and see how that goes with his preparations. But Bolivia, folks, Bolivia have been doing really well, and if I'm really honest with you, I think that I keep moving away from the mic. I'm so not used to doing this all myself. But Bolivia, they're having a good run of form, and but before let's talk about some stuff with Bolivia right now. I'm gonna try to pull it up while we're talking. So let's head across. I think there we go. I got it. I'm getting better at this, folks. Bear with me. So yeah, here we go. So this is from news.cn. A couple other sites quoted this information, but I'll read it out for you really quickly. Two members of the Bolivia's national football team. This was 3 days ago, I think. So today is the 18th, I think. Yeah. So two members of the Bolivian national football team tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday, taking the total number of infected players in the squad to 8, in the Verde squad to 8. Striker Bruno Miranda and goalkeeper Daniel Vaca were ordered to self-isolate and will undergo new PCR tests within 48 hours, which, I guess we'll know by now if they made it, according to the Bolivian Football Federation statement. The players are asymptomatic, presenting a low viral load. Now, this is very similar to Armani for the Argentina squad. He was tested positive, and then it turns out that he was okay, but whatever. The statement said, adding that both were in the final phase of recovery, so it's very possible these guys could play. The news came a day after the FBF, which is I'm guessing the Bolivian Football Federation, said 6 others were diagnosed with the virus, including midfielder Alexis Ribera and 5 unnamed players from local club Bolivar. Head coach Cesar Farias, I think he's Venezuelan, placed Independiente's Petroleros Emerson Velasquez, let me know if I'm pronouncing this correct, folks, Yesit Martinez and William Velasco on standby as potential replacements for the infected players. Farias men are preparing for the 2022 World Cup qualifiers, which we know against Venezuela. We'll talk about that in Caracas on January 28th, and Chile in La Paz 4 days later. So Bolivia have a chance to qualify, folks. So this friendly, it's interesting that they chose Trinidad and Tobago, but then Argentina chose us before they got to the final of the World Cup. So there's still an element of respect there. So that's good. This is a team that's not going to joke around, and this is going to be a lesson. Will it be like the USA lesson? I don't know. But maybe people need to be a little more mature when approaching these games. But anyway, Bolivia currently 8th in the, which I already said already, the 10-team South American zone standings, and remain hopeful of qualifying for their first World Cup since 1994. So yeah. So, I mean, this is something that we already knew already. So the thing is, and I'll try to stay close to the mic, there's a lot of things happening. So it's not going to be a straightforward team. And we'll analyze, the squads of both teams a little bit more, and formations and so on when we move along. But there's a lot of things going on. Will we get the usual Bolivian squad? Or is it going to be, a kind of put together squad? And then also, would it affect, Cesar's Farias squad? So for Bolivia, I mean, I know we're talking about Trinidad and Tobago, but, this is going to be very scary for them, for head coach Cesar Farias, because they're heading into the qualifiers, and if a lot of their players have COVID, even if they recover, it's going to be very difficult for them to really get themselves back to match fitness. It's very brutal on your body. I've never experienced it, but after speaking to many people who have, it's going to be quite difficult. But who knows? But what we're going to do is, in this match preview, we're going to break down the formations over the last 3 or 4 games for each team, the squads, and do what we usually do. I'm alone. Usually I have some guests, but we'll do it alone today, folks. So it's very important that we try to break this down in the most concise way possible. And the fact is, there's so much information to break down. I'm going to try to do my best to do this. So has been in a good run of form. They defeated Uruguay, a pretty strong Uruguay team that is kind of on the decline. They had some players missing and so on, but they defeated Uruguay 3-0. I think Peru 1-0, Paraguay 4-0. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Of course, they all won at home. But, let's take a look at that formation against Peru. So I'm going to load that up for you guys. So let's do this transition and head across. So here we go. So if you look at this formation, Bolivia's coach Farias is known for using multiple formations, and you'll see this here. So in this formation we're seeing here, I'm looking at the wrong camera, but it's Bolivia is using 4-4-2. And this is a game that they got a 1-0 result. And let's take another comparison here. So this now will be against Paraguay. They defeated Paraguay 4-0. And as you can see here, they're using... Let me try to load that up properly, folks. I don't know why it's doing that, but here we go. All right, here we go. So it's 5 at the back, 3, and 2 forwards. So it's really 3 center backs and 2 overlapping wingers to counter attack. Any sort of attack. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's go back a little bit. So let's take the Paraguay formation out, and but as you can see so far, and there's a third option, but we'll go back. There's a reason why we're doing this, and then let's take a look. Before we move forward with that one, I'm going to load the Uruguay formation for you guys. So let's take a look at that one. So here we go. So Uruguay lost to Bolivia. Now Uruguay is a strong team. And as you can see here, he also played a variation of the 5 at the back. So he played with 3 center backs. And obviously there's some rotation in the squad here. And with a little bit more advanced, it's more like a 3-4-3 formation. But usually in these formations, the wing backs kind of fall into these positions, right? In the left and right, and it could become 5 at the back. So this is something that we'll break down a little more. But let's go back a second. Let's go back to the Peru game. So that would be this one here. So folks, I'm going to be doing a lot of transitions, folks. A lot of transitions. So I'm going to pull up the stats for that particular game just to show you some interesting information if I can find it. But I'm going to load up all the formations. I'm going to load the Peru and the Uruguay in particular, so you can see them all side by side. So as you can see here, the Uruguay, so let me load it up, folks. Very difficult, but I'm going to get done. As you can see here, this is Uruguay, and also that would be the game against Paraguay. Different formations, folks. Different formations. They used 5 at the back, but it was more attacking against Uruguay. Of course, in the game's formations, as you all know, they're usually like reference points, and they change during the game. So obviously, someone who pays attention to formations could see at the back here that 3 at the back could easily turn to 5 at the back. And to me, that shows that Farias is not afraid to try different formations, and to me that shows there's a lot of versatility with this guy, and it's very difficult to predict his lineup. So based on my research, it seems as if Farias usually when he attacks what he's perceived weaker opposition, he usually goes with the 4-4-2. Bolivia is not the strongest team in South America, but let's looking at the Copa America and so on, they have been improving. They're building some momentum. So they're probably fancying their chances against us. So I'm not trying to say that we're inferior, but I'm thinking that they may try to come at us with a 4-4-2. I could be wrong. but I'm just showing you how difficult it is to predict the formation for these guys. So it's one of those things where I, truthfully, I don't know if which formation he's going to use. Is he going to go 3 at the back? They're going to be very confident at home because they're playing at home. And I think they're probably, my best guess is that they're probably going to come at us with a 4-4-2. They probably know that we've hardly played a lot of football and see if they can get a result. Now, they're not as technical as Brazil and Argentina and Paraguay and so on. However, they play a very direct style football. They are susceptible to counterattacks. So if, Trinidad was able to, hold back, they can exploit. They do have some vulnerabilities with air balls. However, a lot of that is negated because of the altitude. Can all players sustain a certain style of football? I think they're very uncomfortable in possession from what I've seen. In Bolivia, if a team is able to sustain some amount of possession and manage their oxygen levels throughout the game, they may be able to get a result. And I think it's a good character building game for Trinidad and Tobago. I wish we had a lot more games, but we'll see how that goes. So we're going to take a look at the Trinidad and Tobago formation. So of course, this is going to be very difficult for me. I'm loading a lot of stuff here, folks. I'm loading a lot of stuff, so it's quite tough, but I think I'm doing an okay job. You can let me know what you think in the comment section below. So I'm going to prepare those things. But while I'm saying this, let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think that, Bolivia is going to come at us really aggressively, or are they going to just, sit back and do what they usually do? But, whatever. So we're going to take a look at Trinidad and Tobago's stats in when we played in the Gold Cup, sorry. So we obviously, for those of you who remember, we played Mexico and we drew 0-0, and that was a wonderful result. So I'm going to load this up here now. So let's head across to that particular game. So let's see. So the formation and the stats. So let's head over to that. There we go. Not doing too bad, folks. So as you can see here, this formation shows that Angus is not afraid as well to try different formations. So here you can see he has 5 at the back. Of course, it will be a different squad, 5-4-1, which is kind of like Bolivia, where he has 3 center backs, which with 2 wide players who can go into offensive positions, but it could be very offensive. And when you counter attack, it could be lethal. And in that game, if you all remember, we did create some chances. But here's the interesting thing. We did get a 0-0 result, and it was a very tactically disciplined game. However, let's take a look at the possession. We had 17% possession. Now, for some of you cynics out there, you'll be like, oh, that's very ugly football. But I disagree. I think, I think football is about different tactics. You play to the players you have. And, based on our fitness levels and so on, I would have probably done the same thing, to be honest. That was me. There's other people who interpret the game very differently. But, we managed 0 shots on target, which, we did get a shot, and I think we could have snatched it at the end. I can't remember, folks. You can remind me in the comment section about that, about us getting into that. So I'm going to try to, let's look at the next game here. So we have, this would be, I think it's against El Salvador. I think we lost that game 2-0. So let's head to that game. If I could load it up really quickly. So I think we're going to have it here. Is it here? Oh, here we go. So we lost this game 2-0. So interesting. Once again, if you look at Angus's formation, you see 3 at the back. Almost like a mirror of Bolivia. Isn't that interesting? He decided to go a little bit more offensive. And this formation is very flexible. It's one of my favorite formations. So he had 3 and, it's 5 in the middle with 2 forwards. I think it was Telfon Molino. I can't see it. My eyes are bad. But Alvin Jones, Muckett, and I can't see because I'm small. I can't see. But they basically, you can see in this formation here against El Salvador, they probably tried, okay, let's go on the offensive. And, this formation shows that you could switch to a more offensive style formation. And, of course, it didn't work. And as you can see here, the possession went up to 40%. However, we lost. We got 2 shots on target. They got 19 shots on target. 19 shots, 8 on target, and the possession was 16. I remember looking at this game, and it seemed as if Angus gave them a little bit more freedom. However, maybe in hindsight now, they should have stuck with the same tactic that helped them against Mexico and maybe play a little more quote-unquote ugly. I don't think it's ugly at all. I think defensive football is beautiful. I love the tactical side of the game. And I believe if you can win that way, you play to your strengths. So as you can see here, the passing accuracy increased. And, you know, it wasn't the ideal result. And then heading into the last game, which I will load up in momentarily. But, you know, it shows that, you know, defensively, it seems as if we compact things, we can be okay. Marvin Phillip also had a great game. And the last game, I think we got a draw against Guatemala. So let me see if I can pull that up for you, ladies and gentlemen. So it's Guatemala. I'll pull up the formation and the stats. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. So let's transition to that now. And there we go. So Angus reverted. He tried a different formation now. So like Farias, Angus likes to try different formations. So it seemed as if he's not afraid to try different things. I've been following him a long time now. I know he likes a 4-2-3-1 formation. But, you know, he's not afraid to try different things. And if it's one thing I've observed over the years, when he was at Northeast Stars and so on, he has an appreciation for defense first, lock things down, and then, you know, eventually work on the other areas. But that seems to be a priority for Angus. So in this game, Trinidad and Tobago drew 1-1. The possession was a little bit improved. The formation we used was 4-5-1. You know, so he did away with the 3 centre-backs and tried something different. And I can't remember who scored in this game, but the possession was better. Shots on target was better. And I thought we were okay. And, you know, we got the 1-1 result. So this just shows me that Angus is not afraid to try, you know, different formations. And to me, that's a good thing. Because I think right now we don't have the luxury of a lot of football where we can sit down and say, okay, let's play 4-3-3. Because it requires a lot of fitness and understanding and chemistry with the players. And if they're not playing enough, you know, this will be their first game in a while. I like that. I also saw Terry trying that as well. I think with all things considered, I think that was pretty good from both coaches. I know a lot of people will be a little more cynical and say we should be destroying all these people. But the truth is, our situation in Trinidad and Tobago is not great. So those games, so you know, anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the tactics. So as you can see, Angus is not afraid to try different tactics. He tried 5 at the back with 3 centre-backs, and then basically played a 3-5-2, which can switch to a defensive 5 at the back, and then he tried the 4-5-1. So he's not afraid to go defensive. My guess, heading into this game, he may go the 3 centre-backs again, be very tactical and disciplined, you know, get the players to understand, you know, playing at this high level. Some of them have already. And, you know, unfortunately, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to pull up some information here real quick. Trinidad and Tobago does not have, let's see, let me just verify that. Oh, Leland Archer is missing due to visa issues, according to the TTFA's information. At least that's what I'm saying. So we don't have the Highlands and the Levi Garcias and so on. But, you know, we didn't have them. We didn't have certain players at the Gold Cup. So I think this is going to be a very interesting game to manage for these players mentally. I've seen great players go to Bolivia and really struggle. So it's quite an interesting thing to deal with. And, you know, we could take a look at the, you know, the form guide of Trinidad and Tobago, which I'll try to do this. Like I said, folks, I'm doing this all myself. So I'm trying to load this up the best way I can. It's quite difficult, but also I need to keep my voice at the mic. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about this game. It's going to take place in a little while, folks. But, you know, we're seeing that both coaches have a lot of, you know, tactical variation and not afraid to try things. And both coaches are in a similar thing where Bolivia is kind of like Trinidad and Tobago in a very strong region and they're trying to find themselves. I won't say exactly the same, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. So we're going to pull up, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull up the form guide for all 3 teams. So let's head across to that instead, which will be easier. Okay, so let's do that. So there we go. So we've only played Bolivia once, and according to this thing, it's October 20th, 1975. That's a while back. So we lost 3-1 to them. And Trinidad's form guide in the last 5 games. We just spoke about it. We drew with Guatemala 1-1. We lost El Salvador. We drew with Mexico 0-0. And we won. Let me make sure I get the names of these teams correct, if I'm not mistaken, because I can't actually remember who we played. Let's see. But we got some good results. That's in the CFU qualification. So I'm going to get it real quick. That's a good thing about technology. So we played... Oh, it was French Guyana. We won on a penalty shootout, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, right. That's right. And then Montserrat, which obviously MSR, I should have figured that out. So we got a 6-1, and you know, we scored 8 goals, conceded 5. Games that we scored over 2.5 was just 1. So, interesting stats. And then Bolivia, who have been doing really well, folks, have been doing really well. Against Uruguay, 3-0. Against Peru, they lost. Against, I don't know who that is. Bolivia versus, I don't know who SLV is. So that's why we have technology. So let's go back, let's go over here, and we can see who Bolivia played. Let's see. So Bolivia played in their last 5 games. Obviously Uruguay. Uruguay, they won 3-0. Peru, they lost 3-0. And the Bolivia versus Paraguay. So apparently there's a game in the middle there that I don't know who that is, unless it's a friendly that I don't know about. But they won that game. Whatever. So against Paraguay, they defeated Paraguay 4-0, and Bolivia defeated Peru 1-0. Because I got confused there. Those stats kind of freaked me out a little bit, because I still don't know, unless Slovenia or whatever. But I don't know who that is. It's not showing up here. I'm not seeing it here at all. But whatever. So interesting. Both teams have in considering the state of their countries, a pretty good decent form heading into it for countries that traditionally struggle in recent times, especially Bolivia, who always struggle in general. They always struggle. So, the form guide shows that, Trinidad is actually doing okay. We're doing okay. We're doing okay considering all things. And I'll be very honest. I think that, Trinidad and Tobago is in for a challenge. Now, let's talk about a couple things. Let's talk about players for Bolivia. We spoke about the amount of players that will probably be missing for this game. And, I'm going to pull up a couple interesting facts here before we go to our final verdict. But one of Bolivia's key players, which is Marcelo Moreno, the 33-year-old who plays for Cruzeiro, their star player, their big number 9. He plays a very similar role to Kenwin Jones before he stepped down. He holds up the ball. He plays a very strong physical type play. I would describe him, as he's an intelligent player in the final third. He gets in very good positions in the box. Great goal poacher. Bolivia don't get the ball to him that much, but when they do, he does make things happen. He's a very aggressive guy. He doesn't mess around. If you look at the Copa America, you can see him having a go at Messi. But he has the ability to bring down long passes, and Bolivia will try to do that and exploit that. And maybe somebody like Abu Bakr will have to keep a tight grip on him to keep him busy. But will he play? That is the question, because it's not a FIFA international window. The squad is ravaged by COVID-19. Will he get called in as a thing? And who will really step in for him? And there's a lot of key players in this team that really you need to look out for. And if you look, I'm gonna pull up some of the formations that they use at the Copa America and so on. Players like, why can I find it? But basically, I think Henry Vaca and Mario Vaca and these guys. And there's a lot of changes, folks. Now, if you go and look, Bolivia's coach Farias has made a lot of changes to his lineup. So it's very difficult to really guess who his call-ups are going to be. So he definitely is exploring his pool. They really want to get to this World Cup, and they're taking it seriously, guys. I have a list of 23 players, but since the Copa America until now, there's been a lot of changes. At least, total players, like for example, there's probably about 30-something players I could put on a list right now that could play for Bolivia. Obviously, some of them won't come because it's not a proper FIFA window. A player to really look out for is Juan Carlos Arce. He's sometimes used as he's a forward, but he's sometimes used as a central attacking midfielder behind the forward. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, this game, folks, is going to be a very interesting game for both parties because Bolivia really wants to get fine-tuned heading into their qualifiers. They're doing well, but I think these COVID-19 things may complicate things for them. Not so much for this game, but, Farias will be looking for solutions in case he doesn't get his players for the upcoming games against Chile and so on. And, I think it's Chile and Colombia. Two tough games. And he will be concerned. He'll want to try and make sure his alternate players play really well. And Trinidad and Tobago, Angus, will be heading into this game. I think there's not a lot of pressure on Angus. I think if people are mature enough to understand how football works, just like the USA game, that the USA game was tough. There were situations where a lot of players, COVID-19 restrictions were a lot stronger back then. The players, didn't get to train together. And also the ability to experiment with players were very limited. A lot of people forget that. You get these players, you want to expand your pool, very much like what Bolivia is doing. And, we saw what happened against USA. Will that happen against Bolivia? It is very possible. Because great teams, like I said at the beginning of this video, have gone to Bolivia and have struggled. They have struggled to get results in this particular thing. And let's pull up a couple of results. Bolivia, they've gotten some notable scalps. Let's see. I think if I could pull up some really quickly. Okay, well, I guess if you want to consider Venezuela, I mean, a lot of their victories are at home, but they're improving their form away from home time. But this time around, it's a little bit different. Uruguay is, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia. I think they have to play Brazil in their last game at home. So, they can get points. There was times, I think back in 2002 with Ronaldinho and all those guys, I think they drew with Brazil 3-3, if I'm not mistaken. I think they lost. I could be wrong. But, the point I'm trying to make is that this Bolivia game, when you play Bolivia at home at such a high altitude, and I'm thinking here, let me pull up my notes real quickly. I think it said it's 1,000 feet above sea level. So I think it's higher than the other stadium. And I think this stadium was used back in the Copa America 1997. I could be wrong. Comment in the comment section below. But I think this is going to be a very difficult game for Angus because physically it's going to be very demanding on the players. I don't think a lot of these players have experienced that. So it's going to have to be a learning experience. Of course, you don't want just going to go there, get annihilated, and break the players' spirits. But I think the players are intelligent enough to know that they're going to give it a go. They're going to try to prepare the best way they can. I think Angus is going to go with the 5 at the back, 3 centre backs formation, and try to control the game with possession. That's what I would do based on my analysis. Bolivia will try to come at Trinidad and Tobago. They attack teams with the 4-4-2 and they perceive teams as weaker. So I think in the end, not because of skill or lack of quality in our players, but I think just simply because of the oxygen and the fitness levels, I think in the end, it will be Bolivia eventually taking advantage of that. Now, if Trinidad and Tobago players are able to maintain a reasonable level of fitness for this entire game, then who knows? If we do things correctly and we counter-attack and attack them, the back four is susceptible to one-on-one dribbles. Sometimes, although they have some good centre-backs, they do leak goals. And we have players in Trinidad and Tobago who are technically very strong. So, they can, in fact, hurt Trinidad and Tobago. So I could easily see the game going both ways. I think it's unrealistic to expect us to beat a team like Bolivia who's been playing regular football. They played in the Copa America. They're always around strong opposition. But I think it's a good exercise for Trinidad and Tobago. And I think in the end, Bolivia will win. But I think this is a game that we do have a chance to hurt them. And I think in the end, I could be wrong, of course. But in the end, I think Bolivia will win. But I think this will be a great exercise for Trinidad and Tobago. And hopefully they get more games moving forward. So this is a very detailed, a bit more, a different format that we're using for this show. So, we used, it's myself, we used some different transitions, different cameras, folks. I ran the entire operation myself because of COVID-19. We have to be very safe. Be sure to practice proper hygienic practices, even if you're not pro or against vaccinations. Please, practice proper hygiene. But to end things off, Let me know what you think in the comment section below about who do you think is going to win. You know, we went through the formations, the different form guides, the different styles of both Farias and Angus Eve. Both coaches like to tinker with their lineups. Both coaches like to tinker with their formations. So it's going to be very interesting. Trinidad and Tobago taking on this team in Sucre, in high altitude. Bolivia is very strong at home. And I think in the end, like I said before, Bolivia will probably come through in the end. Of course, the Trinidad and Tobago fan in me hopes that's not the case, but I think it's a learning experience for the players. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the comment section below. Like us on Twitter, like us on Instagram. We are doing a whole new format, a whole new type of show for 2022. There's a lot more to come. Also, we have, for you Trinidad and Tobago fans, a special campaign. And I'll put a link in the description below where I went back into the FIFA World Cup 2014 in Brazil and tried to qualify with Trinidad and Tobago. So far, I've gotten out of the group stage, and you could check that out so far. All you FIFA gamers out there, you could check it out. You know, I know there are a lot of gamers out there who think they're better than me. We'll see. But I think I did pretty okay. You could check it out. I'm going to continue the campaign weekly. It's going to be a live stream. We're qualified for the next round, so check that out. Also, we'll be doing a lot of stuff with cricket, and also our regular episodes of EXTV Live, which is new. We'll be adding timestamps. It's different. We'll have guests. And we'll just be continuing to just grow, folks. So once again, folks, let me know what you think in the comment section below about this game. This is Andre Sooklal of EXTV, and we will definitely chat after the game and get some reactions and see how this turned out. So stay tuned for that, folks, and thank you for joining us, and let's head to the game.
This is the champion DJ Bravo. I know it's testing times. I know most of y'all stuck at home, not able to go to school, be with your friends. I want to encourage each and every one of you to stay focused, stay positive, stay healthy. Find a way, even though you're at home, find a way. Take at least 10-15 minutes of your day and do something positive. Do an exercise, whether you go for a walk, a jog, sit-ups, squats, whatever it is. Be responsible, be safe, and take this downtime to motivate yourself. Be active. From the champion, DJ Bravo.